They laughed when the frail old woman stepped onto the shooting range, called her Grandma, lost, and too fragile to even hold a gun. But in less than one breath, she would pull off a shot so impossible, so legendary, that every elitist shooter in that room would fall silent, and one young man's life would change forever. Welcome back to Tales and Turns, where ordinary people reveal extraordinary truths. Before we dive in, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to support the channel. And tell us where you're watching from in the comments. We love seeing our global family come together. The shooting range was buzzing that afternoon, filled with wealthy hobbyists showing off their expensive rifles and overpriced gear. Among them was Daniel, a young man struggling with confidence, trying to learn shooting as a way to overcome years of fear and insecurity. His hands shook every time he picked up a rifle. The instructor glared at him, unimpressed. The other shooters laughed under their breath, enjoying the humiliation. Daniel felt smaller and smaller with every failed attempt. Then she walked in, slowly, quietly, leaning on a wooden cane. An elderly woman in a faded sweater, short gray curls bouncing slightly as she moved. She looked so out of place that the room practically froze. The elitist shooters exchanged looks. One of them whispered loudly, "Did someone's grandmother get lost?" Another chuckled, "Careful, she'll outshoot you." The mockery wasn't subtle, but what stunned Daniel most was her expression. She wasn't offended. She wasn't angry. She simply observed the room with eyes that seemed old in a different way. Deep. Calculating. When she reached the counter, she asked softly, "1 hour on the long-range lane, please." The employee hesitated, unsure whether to laugh or refuse. But something in her gentle smile made him nod. As she prepared to walk toward the lanes, Daniel noticed her glance at him. It wasn't judgment. It was the kind of look a teacher gives a student who's hurting but trying. For reasons he couldn't explain, he felt seen. The laughter grew louder as she approached the lane. The elitists joked openly now. "She'll drop the rifle before she shoots it. Maybe she came here to knit at the lane." Daniel wanted to speak up, but shame glued his mouth shut. Still, something inside him twisted painfully. Because he felt like he was watching himself in her, a person the world underestimated. When she finally reached her lane, she placed her cane gently aside. Her movements, though slow, carried a strange confidence. She opened a plain, worn-out case. Daniel expected to see a basic, old rifle, but what he glimpsed made his breath catch. It wasn't fancy, but it was customized, balanced, and clearly well cared for. This wasn't a beginner's weapon. This was a professional's companion. And the way she held it. The room didn't notice, but Daniel did. That grip wasn't shaky or fragile. It was memory. Muscle memory. She positioned herself with a smoothness that contradicted her age. Her back straightened. Her eyes narrowed. The years seemed to peel away from her face. Daniel couldn't stop staring, and soon, neither could the others. The laughter died down, replaced by confused silence. The instructor walked closer, unable to believe what he was seeing. The old woman took a single breath, let it out slowly, and pulled the trigger. The shot echoed like thunder. The target, set impossibly far away, trembled. When the staff brought it back, the entire room leaned in, expecting a miss. Instead, they found a perfect bullseye dead center. Not just any bullseye. A sniper's precision shot. The elitist shooters went pale. Daniel's heart pounded. She didn't stop there. She fired again. Another bullseye, and again, and again. Each one perfectly placed, each one a silent slap to every arrogant face in the room. But the biggest shock came when the instructor approached her and whispered, "Ma'am, this is military-level shooting." She gave a small smile. "Retired. Long ago." Daniel's eyes widened. The room gasped. The rumors started instantly. Was she special forces? A war veteran? A national champion? But she didn't confirm or deny anything. She simply said, "I'm just someone who learned how to survive." When she finished, she turned to Daniel, the only one who hadn't mocked her. She handed him a pair of custom ear protectors and said quietly, "Your hands shake because you're scared of failing. But failure is how people like us learn to hit the center." Then she adjusted his stance with the precision of someone who had trained countless soldiers. Her voice was soft but firm. "Stop trying to impress them. Shoot for yourself." Daniel lifted the rifle again, and this time his hands were steadier. The first shot wasn't perfect, but it was closer. The second was better. By the fifth, he hit the target dead center. For the first time in years, he felt something warm spread through him. Confidence. Real, earned confidence. When he turned to thank her, she was already packing up. Moving slowly like the elderly woman, she appeared to be minutes earlier. The Elitist shooter stood aside quietly, ashamed. As she picked up her cane, Daniel asked, "Who are you?" She gave him a smile so kind it hurt. "Someone who knows what it's like to be underestimated." Then she walked out of the shooting range, disappearing into the evening light, leaving behind a room full of stunned faces, humbled egos, and one young man whose life she had forever changed